It's the only sport in the world where a Negro can shake a stick at a white man and won't start no ride.
This is the comedian's wet dream. You're backstage, you hear a cocoon sound of what sounds like a full coliseum becoming dimmer and dimmer. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Gregory. You get on stage. The silence of the audience is too loud. You open your mouth. To your surprise, the words ace out like an open faucet. Jokes flood your mind like you've been preparing for this moment your whole life. 2 hours have gone by. In what feels like a minute, the audience is drank with laughter. A man from the front row with a charismatic smile gets up, comes on stage and shakes your hand. Same time tomorrow, you have just made a breakthrough into the world of showbiz.
Comedy Kings Network.
In Gregory's autobiography, a story that summarizes the trauma he endured as a child is when he swung a huge kitchen knife at his father's face. The story goes on showing that his father was abusive. However, that was just a mere introduction to a childhood that will make the devil's dick move a little. Dick's father was also an absent father, leaving his wife to provide and care for their 6 children alone. Lucilla had all the love in the world, but her condition, working as a maid and earning pennies, doing housework, and single-handedly taking care of the children, stole a lot from the family. Gregory talks of a Christmas night where his mother wore nice clothes that she was given by the white folks. Not my words, but his. That night, she stayed up in the living room, staring at the outside window, hoping that her man will come back home. This took a huge toll on young Gregory. He was the poor kid, the one who had no daddy, the one everybody secretly loathed. But soon enough, Gregory discovered comedy. It's hard for a man to laugh at you if he's laughing with you. Gregory hinted his side for observational comedy. He started doing self-deprecative jokes to stop people from making fun of him. On a side note, self-deprecative jokes were also the aha moment for the legendary comedian Rodney Dangerfield, where he started getting some public attention after a long, dull career. Anyways, Gregory at this young age was starting to carve his own way like he did for the rest of his life. He tasted the teddy of fame and glory by becoming one of the best competitive runners when he was a senior in high school. This created a cloak that covered his shameful reputation of the poor kid who had no daddy. Moreover, running landed him a university scholarship. He was also awarded Outstanding Athlete of the Year at the university in 1953, the first black person to be awarded the title at Southern Illinois, which wouldn't be the last time that running played a pivotal role in Gregory's life. Comedians talk of the moment. Nobody can explain it, but everybody can feel it. Dave Chappelle talks of an incident where an announcer said, "You might be witnessing the birth of a star." Dick Gregory talks of a stormy night, and I could swear nobody could top his moment. The story goes on. Through hard work coupled with misunderstanding and an act of God, Gregory was booked to an all-white club, something that no Negro has ever done during the time. Again, not my words, but his. In fact, it was unwritten law that it is prohibited for a black person to perform at such a place in the early 60s. Gregory said the performance night he arrived panicking, fearing that he just might be late, yet he was just on time, exactly 8 o'clock. He rushed on stage without even concerning himself with anyone. Imagine the tension in that room. Gregory elaborated that time went by fast, that he remembers 12 o'clock while he was still on stage. The audience tired of laughing, but yet glued to their seats. His performance was so outstanding that the event organizers woke up the club owner, Hugh Hefner, to come and see. Without any hesitation, Hefner booked Gregory for the whole following weeks. On a side note, Hugh Hefner, the Playboy Penthouse ringmaster, contributed much to stand-up comedy, yet this is oftenly sidelined. Hefner opened the door for Lenny Bruce by featuring him on the launch of Playboy's Penthouse TV show when Lenny was just vaguely known. He offered the same courtesy to Dick Gregory, as that pivotal night, Dick was booked to perform at the Playboy Club. Gregory dug a tunnel through the rockiest of the mountains by being the first black crossover, one-man, one-mic stand-up comedian. Moreover, he wasn't telling no banana jokes like what Michelberg would say. He was sharing intellect, observational comedy, and cunning stories. Open quote, "We don't serve colored people here." I said, "That's all right. I don't need colored. Bring me a whole fried chicken."
See, I thank the white dude from Walmart for my cousin. This past Christmas, they had prices so low, he didn't have to shoplift.
Gregory grew up during Jim Crow laws. Race was a taboo subject for stand-up comedy back then. Gregory mastered the act of walking that fine line. He championed a comedy style of pointing at bigotry, which is his best beats in my opinion. He said, if you carry manure in your pocket to throw at someone, it's your own pocket that stinks all day. So imagine what those isms do to your mind when you walk around with them everywhere. If I told you that a black person made a fortune telling white people about racism in the 60s, nobody would believe me. I mean, the last guys who did the same got a bullet to the head. Gregory reached the promised land, climbed out of poverty, and exceeded the American dream. Yet, for some reason, that wasn't enough for him. Amidst his stand-up comedy prime, he left the fame, money, and glory to put his life and well-being in danger, joining the civil rights movement alongside Malcolm X, Dr. King, and many others.
The word black power really have frightened white America simply because when they hear black power, they think of white power, and white power means napalm, tanks, state police department, high finance, overthrowing governments. Black power do not mean this.
He didn't send a check and sit back. He didn't say a few words and kept on enjoying his fame. He drove down to the ground and stood at the front of the picket lines in the hot sun with police dogs and angry men with all kind of enforcement equipment staring down his face. Show me one single modern day celebrity that would do that. Damn, I don't even think I would do that. Gregory even got arrested multiple times. With that said, I feel like I don't have the right to write about Gregory's autobiography because it is one of the best pieces of literature that I've ever read. It's one of those books you feel like should be mandatory to every child. The book Nigger, an autobiography, was published in 1965 and is still currently selling copies. If you're a stand-up comedy enthusiastic like us, hit that subscribe button to keep up with iconic comedy works which are still hilarious till this day. If you're not a stand-up comedy fan, then what's wrong with you, dude?
I find it kind of hard finding that the day Kennedy was getting his head blown off in Dallas, all the telephone communication system was blown out in Washington, D.C., and the press didn't report this.
Do you think the two Kennedy assassinations, the Martin Luther King assassination, and the Wallace attempt were all linked and possibly linked by the CIA?
I think so, and I think it can be proven.
Anyways, Gregory was starting to become an irritant. J. Edgar Hoover, the controversial FBI director, credited with expanding the FBI to the strongest police force in the world, personally plotted to neutralize Gregory. This was even reported by the Washington Post. Released documents showed that J. Edgar Hoover plotted to incentivize the mafia to work Gregory. Dick was fairly famous at this time, so Hoover knew that they couldn't use traditional ways to neutralize him. They would require sophisticated methods, he said. Hoover noted that Gregory made some comments about the mafia, saying that they are the filthiest snakes that exist on this earth. A plot was concocted by the FBI to work with the gang Lestra Nocha and get them to deal with it. Gregory was even running for president at this time, where he was able to gather 47,000 votes. Hoover claimed that Gregory has threatened attacks to the president, the director of the FBI, and FBI agents. Which makes one think, is the way Dick Gregory is currently portrayed on YouTube a coincidence, or is there a foreign hand in it? But more on that later. Just like Dr. King, Gregory opposed the war in Vietnam, where he went on a hunger strike, tremendously losing weight. He said, when you're fasting, people start asking questions. He didn't forget about his jogging days. He ran yet again for world hunger, attracting Muhammad Ali's attention, who even spoke about Gregory's endeavors and also joined him. Moreover, this was during Ali's boxing peak. This attracted more media attention to Gregory's cause.
Be willing to go to jail if it comes to that, because I'd rather see you in jail with the jails filled up than the graveyards running over.
Activism became Gregory's life. He contributed to the feminist movement, advocated for good health and nutrition, leading him to become a full-blown nutritionist, starting a mostly free weight loss program in helping people who are morbidly obese through diet, exercise, and mental coaching, and successfully assisted dozens of people. Gregory wrote the book, Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat, Cooking with Mother Nature, which has a 4.3 star rating on Goodreads. He launched a nutrition product known as the Caribbean Diet for Optimal Health, which is still available right now. This coupled with a diet he pioneered, known as the Bahamian Diet. First impressions last, but last impressions linger. Dick Gregory's son said in an interview that his father was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Gregory's performances at his old age are like an abandoned gold mine. There's residue of gold but a whole lot of debt, which might be the reason why such a pivotal character is underappreciated. His last interviews are overshadowed by anger, vaguely substantiated conspiracy theories, and outdated jokes, which is a body bag to his unprecedented, sharp, and revolutionary thoughts. Chris Rock said on an interview for Andrew Guinness, the one and only Dick Gregory documentary, and I'm paraphrasing here, people started to not want to hear him talk, even on a one-to-one basis. With that said, it's important that we highlight the bulk of Gregory's career, which is revolutionizing comedy for black people, activism for humanity, and a father of 11 children. Gregory is a model for the ideal marriage. He died in 2017 at the age of 84, still married to his wife and mother of 11 children, Lilia.